Good news, everyone!
Well, everybody, welcome to my terrible mistake that was staying up way too late on Sunday night to record this. Also known as the Bandit Radio Hour. I'm happy y'all are here for the mistake.
Midnight special, literally.
Yeah, it's Sunday night, and I told Merce, I kind of had a hectic weekend, and I was like, no, I can make it over there tonight. My mom can watch my kid, I can get out of the house. And it was about probably 4 hours before I came over here. It was like 6 o'clock. I was like, should I cancel this? Should I break my obligations? Be a lesser man, turn tail, stay home, enjoy Resident Evil, and relax on the couch?
Instead, you quoted Wyatt Earp from Tombstone.
Yeah. Tell him hell's coming with me. And I came, and it was like 2 hours ago. Like I already told him, I was like, I'm coming, don't worry about it. And it was like 2 hours ago at like 9 o'clock. I was like, I probably should have canceled and stayed home and let hell go on without me.
I was really waiting to get like a text or a message just being like, I'm not going to make it.
But I'm here. I got coffee and caffeine that's going to power me and keep me going like a chatterbox this next hour and change a little bit. There's been plenty of stuff happening to chat about. But yeah, besides that, usual. Dude, your weekend, what'd you do?
I planted blueberries.
Are you a blueberry farmer now?
I don't.
Is that your new calling?
I don't want to say I'm a farmer because they might all die. I'm a blueberry planter.
You're an attemptist.
Yeah. Because that would imply that they've reached maturity and I've sold the berries.
And so far, you've built a mound, planted the seed. Now, when you planted them, were they sprouts?
They're transplants.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I built
a bunch of trannies.
I built bed. Yeah.
That's what you like having around your house.
Anyways,
you built a bed for the trannies.
Yeah, it's just spiraling. But the juicy tranny plants are in their beds right now. But yeah, no. So I built the beds. Had to do a lot of treatment. Had them out there for like a month beforehand, getting the soil acidity down because blueberry is like super acidic soil.
Right.
And so got the first round planted, about 40, 50 plants, and I got another 100 coming, getting shipped in this week. I got plant
and you're just keeping them water, giving them sunshine, all that jazz.
Basically, injecting sulfuric acid.
Just a little bit of sulfuric acid.
Just a little bit. It sounds so bad, but anybody listening, you use sulfuric acid to lower the pH of your water, and in turn, the sulfur breaks down. It's actually a nutrient for the plant. So
I said it to my mother earlier today. Actually, I'm like, yeah, you started doing is like putting some sulfuric acid in there, and she goes, I know I heard you incorrectly. It sounded like you said he's putting sulfuric acid in his plants.
Yes, I'm basically playing chemist because... And I also found out I'm not very good at chemistry.
I read on a couple of Facebook groups. It's totally legit, everybody. Don't worry.
Well, yeah. So I was like, okay.
Some guy named Ronald Sutherland told me it's totally fine.
Yeah. just get you a couple cups and
couple car batteries. Drain them into one container. You want to fertigate that.
Actually, no. You don't want to use car batteries because that means the sulfuric acid's got lead in it.
Ah.
You want to get fresh battery
acid.
Just
a little bit of lead.
For those listening, you can buy battery acid at your local parts store. All you have to do is ask for it. It's behind the counter.
Yeah. Do that information what you will.
Just be responsible.
Please don't come after us, feds. We're just having fun.
But so I had to drop the pH of my water to around like 5-ish is what I wanted, which is 7's neutral, as lower it goes acidic. So I was like, battery acid should be about 1. And I was like, all right, I'll take like this. I'll put a bunch of water, mix it, we'll be fine. I made pH of 0.9, which was very.
Dude, you can get rid of bodies with that.
Yeah. So. It was bad. It took me so long. I made a mess.
Why are you kicking me under the table, man?
Yeah,
I just said you'd get rid of some bodies.
I was dumping just massive quantities because I was like having to mix it with water and like dumping it out in the yard rather than spraying on plants. And I was having to use tons of like baking soda to neutralize it, and it looked like the volcano experiments. I just got like fizzles like all out in the yard.
Well, your first blueberries, just be like, "Come here, nieces and nephews, I got something for y'all to try."
I mean, she was over here this weekend picking some.
Yeah, she said they tasted a little tart.
But I didn't start actually putting it to the blueberries until I figured it out right. So.
Oh shit.
So that was my weekend, was playing Mad Scientist and working. I'm getting old because my back hurts.
Dude, I've been thinking that all day is lower back. I got an axe sticking out of it. I think that would make it feel better if someone hit it right. Damn, I don't like it. But anyways, enough about old man bitching. What I do this weekend? My brother and his kids came over, and that was fun. We had a blast. Just little little rugrat. He's got a 1-year-old, I think his youngest son is, and then he's got like a 3 to 4-year-old daughter. They're barrel monkeys. They're fun. My daughter was really sad when they left, and I was like, why? Why are you so upset? I know you gotta have fun, but fun's gotta end sometimes. She goes, yeah, but I can't boss anybody around anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, at least you're an honest 8-year-old. Very true to her colors. But
her first taste of power.
Yeah, and she likes it. She'll literally, dude, she looks so much like the caricature of Mussolini. Like, she raises her chin and points down. And when she wants something, like, stop it, for real, you're going to start a fascist revolution. We don't need that. Hey, speaking of fascist revolutions, she had to do a history paper last week after we did the show. And it was all the great things that Lincoln did.
Oh.
And dude, I need to stop because
you should have taken the piece of paper and hung it out and shot it one time in the center
from the back.
Yeah, and then just turned in the assignment.
Yeah, but it was dude, it had bold-faced lies in it.
Yeah,
it just really did. One of them was the Civil War started because Lincoln wanted to free the slaves. I was like, that's not why it started.
Lincoln did not want to free the slaves.
It started because the South wanted to keep its slaves, but that's not the same as Lincoln wanting to free the slaves. The really rich Southern plantation owners wanted to keep slaves. And
Did you know the largest plantation owner in South Carolina that owned the most slaves was black?
Doesn't surprise me. People of all colors do that shit. And dude, you gotta realize, the best anecdote, or not anecdote, but comparison I've heard this to.
All people are terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's still slavery today in just different ways. We just don't call it slavery. We call it prisoners that work for 25 cents an hour.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the 8 to 5.
Yeah, but going back to someone in it's very easy to be against slavery today. It's the most non-controversial Western opinion. Is yeah, that was bad and it's something we got rid of. Even your most racist redneck Southerner, if you ask them, was slavery a good thing? They're like, no, but we need to get them out of here. So, but it's always no, that's humanly, that's probably fucked up.
Lincoln's plan was to ship them back.
Yeah, to Liberia.
I don't know. If you really started looking into all, there was no good, really anybody there.
Going back to so that Civil War happened in 1860. Going back to someone in the 1800s and telling them dude, in 80 years there is not going to be slavery is going to be outlawed. They'd be telling somebody today in 80 years there's not going to be a government. It's so how would all this even work?
Those are two opposite things, though, because I feel if you told someone that in the 1800s, they'd be like, oh, no, that's terrible. But now, when these times, you tell somebody there's going to be no government in the future, that's a good thing.
For a chunk of us.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it is. Which, I see... I heard Michael Malice pose an interesting point. This was a week or two ago. But he said, where are the most dangerous properties? He said the ones that are publicly owned. It's in cities, it's public alleyways, it's sidewalks. He goes, that's where you get mugged. He goes, you don't get mugged inside a bar. You don't get mugged inside a store. He said,
you do in California.
Well, except for in places where for better, it's such an odd thing where it's like I said last week, it's anarcho-tyranny. It's there's so many laws that are so harshly enforced, and there's only so many cops to enforce so many laws. It's just different people going away for different things. Arbitrary bullshit. While the real criminals, 20 of them running. You see video of them running into.
Speaking back to real criminals, what good things did you come up with for Lincoln?
Oh! Not much. My daughter was I'm sorry, the main thing she got out, that says he goes,
he was well hatted.
He freed all the slaves with the Emancipation Proclamation.
No.
I was nope, my autism ain't gonna let that one slide. I was then.
He only freed
the slaves in the South that he had no power over at the moment. And he names them he's in these counties that are under Confederate control. those slaves are free. But like in Illinois and Kentucky, nah. Like, y'all are still slaves, man. Sorry, y'all's masters are cool with my side. So screw you. And even, it's funny, even my mom is skeptic. She was a history teacher. She goes, no way. Read it. Like, pull it up and actually look at the document, and it's spelled out. It's like, it's like just and what he's trying to do, it's a good tactic. Like, hey, the slaves of my enemy, here's a good reason to rebel. Yeah. Y'all will be free. And
it was also to weaponize the topic, because it was to keep like France and I think Great Britain, one of the two, from like aiding on the South Side, because then they're like, whoa, it's over slavery.
We're advanced Europeans here.
We're not even going to touch that.
I mean, our royal families are still screwing our brothers and sisters, but besides that, we're on top of things. Dude, I saw where Habsburg's jaw came from, and that was...
Have you ever seen Prince that? Ferdinand
of Spain.
Where he gets all the forms. I read, though, that those are supposed to be flattering paintings of him.
But then I got looking at my
I hope that's the thumbnail.
I'm like, dude, I got a little bit of a like Stan Marsh chin, like a little bit of a like Chet You Betcha kind of coming at you, and I like it. But I saw that video on Habsburg chin. Like, that's worrisome. But I'm right about stuff, so I like that. By the way, we need a little board or some gay shit up here to keep track of stuff. Because, like, so far, Russia, I think I've knocked out of the park.
I mean, like a little pull tab.
Yeah, there you go. We'll just draw on this.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Well, I mean, yeah.
We can decorate it.
Okay. It's for the show.
I'll have my daughter do it. It'll be arts and crafts time.
Yay.
Now, daddy, or little baby, right? Putin. But, no, it's like... Anyways, Emancipation Proclamation was like one I really corrected on. And my daughter's like, so I'm going to write that? I'm like, no, you're not going to write that. You're going to write what they want to hear. But just, the truth.
He won the election with not even being on the ballot in the southern states?
Well, it's one of the things it says is like, he won his re-election, and 5 days later, he's shot. I'm like, that's a sign. You imagine... Dude, could you imagine if, like, Trump got reelected and then... Because that's probably as controversial of a figure. But...
I will say, as much as I don't like Lincoln, I do think, in a way, him getting shot, I don't think was actually, like, hindering towards the South. Whether I disagree with him, there's been a lot of point in, like, a lot of, like, other people to step in and then really carpetbag and...
Yep.
Exploit the South more than Lincoln wanted to.
Yep.
Even though I disagree with a lot of what he did, I do think at that point the ship sailed. Like,
dude, that was rough on. I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, like, this is part of the official narrative. Is absolutely true. Black people got like totally screwed. And like, we're free in like the white Southerners. Not all of them, because there was a good chunk of them that weren't this way, but a big chunk like, we lost. We're pissed.
Yeah.
Yankees are taking our money. We're gonna take it out on y'all, and it's like, ooh, that's rough.
There was really no winner there at all.
And except for where the term carpetbagger came from, which would just be like this, and a company would come down, open a factory in a southern town, get everybody working there to make enough product to close it down and move out. I mean, one of ours was the Coca-Cola bottling plant.
Yeah.
There were like, you'll see them in chunks of Florida. I saw it.
But fun fact. Coca-Cola was invented by a Confederate general.
In Atlanta, right?
I don't know if it was in Atlanta, but it was something he invented to get over his morphine addiction.
We can call
that's why he put actual cocaine in it, to get over the morphine.
Yeah. Dude, what a time it was back then. And don't get me wrong, there's like a ton of cocaine addicts back then. But since we've regulated it and like, when we outlawed it, we've totally got it under control. There's no cocaine addicts anymore.
Yeah,
but it's gone.
Yeah, you can't get cocaine anymore.
Imagine just going to the doctor and like, man, I'm feeling fatigued and I can't work. Have you tried cocaine? No, it's like, well, it gets those ghosts right out of your blood. Don't worry. When you stop bloodletting you, try this cocaine, a little bit of opium, it'll cure them belly aches. Come back to us later.
Here's a bottle of randomness and some leeches.
Yeah, I mix these together. Try it. Uppers and downers. Give them to your kids. Wild.
Oh, what a time to be alive. I was born in the wrong time.
I wasn't. Nope. I like being... Dude, we might be some of the first people in history to grow up, like, somewhat soberly. With our minds not being... Like I said, like, everyone had to drink some kind of alcohol in the past to purify the water. And sure, they're not...
That sounds great to me.
Nah. Dude, I get hungover, man, and I've never...
Not if you just always are drinking. That's why you died at 30.
That just feels so rough. That feels... it's hard enough waking up in the morning.
My only thing I wouldn't have liked about then was probably like always the feeling dirty and the lack of toilet paper and air conditioning.
Yeah.
I think those are like my biggest gripes. I think if the world ended and like, you know, society crawls apart, you know, I could survive. We have the ranch out here, I can go... I'm going to have a raw, crusty butthole, and I'm going to be very pissed off about it.
Episode title, Raw Crusty Butthole.
because yeah, there's no toilet paper. And it's just, that's going to be, I think, the most annoying thing for me.
I'll never forget the horror that I felt of, like, you know, you grow up in the country, like, y'all people in the cities, God bless y'all's kind souls. Y'all have, like, zombie fantasies or whatever. Yeah, I got nothing. Like, for y'all, it's like a shit nightmare. For us, we're like, oh, finally, we get to stretch our legs and play video games. But for them, it's going to be bad, but not so bad.
Yeah, it's like, I don't have to pay property taxes.
Always had a problem with the neighbors, not anymore. But anyways, I lived with somebody in West Palm Beach whenever I had a roommate, and they were a diabetic. And I had a cousin that was diabetic, but I never like really got in details of how. But I'm like, oh, if the world goes to shit, you're just done. Like, you have to depend on modern society to live. Like food, water, shelter, diabetes medicine.
Every time I hear diabetes,
Scott Tenement.
Yeah, the old guy. No, it's the old guy from the commercials where I was like, diabetes.
Yeah. I caught cephalitis once. Ain't that what killed him? No, I'm just making that bad rumors. Don't take that.
I figured he died of diabetes.
Yeah, dude, he's a hefty boy. I just have such fond memories of that man from Walker, Texas Ranger. He was always the fat captain at the bar, sitting at a booth eating like a rib sandwich, being like, Walker, there's drug traffickers, narcos down there south of the border. You and this black captain deputy got to go get them.
Go roundhouse them.
Eyes of the Ranger are always upon you. Dude, that was the early 90s small town era summed up.
Yeah.
A pickup truck with the lights on top of the
Dodge.
Yes.
The silver Dodge.
Dude, that's like when Dodges came onto the scene and they're like, we are the big trucks. And then they turned into big hunks of shit.
Yep.
I remember all of them, like, it seems like everybody that had a Dodge in the 90s, their dashboards would all crack and break under the Florida sun. Like, it would bake them too much. And whether it was a Durango or a friend's Dodge.
I've also seen two Dodges get shot, but...
Shot? Like with a gun?
Yeah. The two buddies I've had... Well, one's your cousin.
Okay.
That
doesn't surprise me. Which one? I'm trying to figure out. But anyways,
the gun went off in the truck and shot through the floor.
Oh, yeah.
The transmission.
Yeah.
And then my other buddy, same thing. Gun went off and shot through the floor of his. And they're both Dodges, so I just...
My Dodge, I made go sideways in a pasture. And it was the dancing Dodge for a night.
Oh, we almost died.
Yeah.
I was with you.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to do a donut because I was being cool.
No, you went 40 miles an hour and then just made a hard left.
That's how you do that, in a pasture. It was going cool till we caught that bullhole. I think that's when things really went sideways. Literally. And you had just cracked open a can of Bud Light.
A bottle
of
Bud Light.
And like, dude, as we're flipping,
don't drink and drive, kids.
Don't drink and drive. This is in a pasture on private property, not on public roads. No crimes were committed. I think probably they were, but anyways.
Statute of limitations,
dude. Like, as we went sideways, I remember looking at your beer and like as we're going and you're like bracing for impact, I'm noticing your wrist is turning to match the gravity. I'm like, my beer will stay stationary level with all
I
of
didn't
this.
spill a drop.
No. And yeah, and I was very embarrassed and ashamed, and now I've just told everybody about that. That's cool. Way to go, Josh. But anyways.
R.I.P. Dodge.
Yep, it was the dancing Dodge right after the no-go Colorado. That one's sober.
That one also ended up upside down.
I was leaving church with the Turner Boys and Nick Barrera. But those are fun times back. But kids, listen to this after you're like 23 and capable of driving decent.
Yeah, you don't have it. You think you do, but you don't.
No, you don't. Like, oh man, we were idiots. Which I guess everybody is. It's a miracle so many people lived through that, especially in small towns. Because like, well, I mean, we heard of people dying growing up in automobile accidents. That's like how people die in small towns going through that age. Because I don't know, I think in the city, you have to be more on guard every inch of driving. Because like people in the country, you like get comfortable. You get confident in your driving ability.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere, a road, you're gonna gun it, and yeah.
I think that's just typically driving in the country. It's much more that night. You're bored, so you're gonna look at your phone a little bit more than you would any other time. Don't do it, kids. But let's be honest.
Well, say we were growing up, like, I mean, our texting and driving was having to hit like the 9 key 3 times, and then the 2, and then the 4, and the.
I hated texting whenever it started.
Oh, I did too.
I hate because I was like, what?
Do you remember when we got charged per text? Or you're only allowed so many texts on your plan?
And I remember hearing about people rack up like crazy bills with it.
Yeah,
I remember going like, why would you even do it when you can call for, as long as it's after 8 p.m. or something.
We had the beep, and that was free.
Yeah, we got into that. And that was great. So yeah, that was my week. Besides, like, dude, at my house, we are infested. We are infested with. Like,
yeah, I noticed you didn't wear a hat.
No. So, dude, I guess there's like a lice outbreak at the school. We've gotten that. I've had to treat my daughter for that. Like, we've gotten that mostly taken care of. The other thing, and you mentioned it a little bit before the show, but like, godforsaken fleas. We live on top of a hill, and like we got like a 1 acre dog pen our dogs stay out in. We've been having to leave them out of it and like leave them up on the porch and stuff. But like, dude, it's like you walk into the damn thing covered in fleas, covered in them in 30 seconds.
Because it's dry.
It's so dry. And dude, I was thinking like when you get these droughts out in the rural areas, like dude, the bugs have nowhere to go because everything outside is dried up and there's no.
Well, it's perfect breeding conditions too.
Yeah.
The dry sandiness is what the fleas like.
Yep. So what? You've been infested with them before?
Yeah, I think it was like back before we had a super bad drought at our barn and dog pen. You like walk out in the barn and your legs would just be like black from like the knees down from the fleas. And I don't know how like off you have to get like we had like the granular stuff you spread out for them and then it was.
Is it the sand?
Yeah.
That like breaks them apart.
No, it's like something they get or it kills them or it's like a contact thing, but you spread it out and a bunch of other stuff. Or you need to go. You can get an insecticide, but you also get a growth regulator that'll keep their eggs from maturing. Because you can kill the fleas, but the problem is they've already laid so many eggs, and the cycle just keeps continuing.
Right. We, dude, in Texas, whenever we had a flood, so it's like, Florida, like, everything's flat. In Texas, our ranch out there is 3,000 acres. It's like a third of it's up on hills, a third of it is on the bottom, but a third of it's like this kind of transitioning slope. And our house, our little ranch cabin, was up on top of a hill. We had the worst flood they'd seen in 300 or 500 years on the geological record. And literally, like, we were on an island on top of, like, surrounded by water. But because of that, all the fleas in this valley that survived ran to the top of the hill that we were on. And, dude, I had my 2-year-old daughter at the time. She was learning how to, like, run around and walk. And dude, inside our house, I think we fought them for like 2 months. I was still with her mom. I remember seeing my daughter walk and like fall down and hit the ground. And whenever she got up, it looked like someone just took a pin and just put dots all over her. And I was like, we've got to go. We might have to burn the house down. Like, this is bad. And like, dude, thank God we got insecticide. Like, which I guess has also made them stronger. It's like a tit for tat.
Before that, you just had the Black Plague.
Dude, like, what did you do about these damn things?
You died.
And like
you just died. You just died.
Yeah, I guess.
Most things, you just died.
And you just lived miserably if you didn't. Dude, imagine having ringworms. Wait, what's the one that makes your butthole itch?
Oh, those are like pinworms?
Pinworms.
What?
Have you ever had pinworms?
No.
Dude.
Wait.
Bro. Fellas. It is bad. It is. Like, dude, so I've never gotten it, like, in my freaking life. And like, dude, I'm a clean person. Like, I take 2 showers a day and brush my teeth and floss and old American. But like, dude, I don't know if it's like having kids or I used to run around barefoot all the time and get much worse shit than I do now. I've gotten them like twice in the past like 2 or 3 years. No, dude, I understand why dogs like rub across the ground, and it's like, thank God you can go to CVS and get a poison and drink it, and it kills them. Because, oh my God, if you had to live with that, I'd be a Viking that would murder everybody. So yeah, guys, that's my insane personal story.
I'm glad it's late and we're not doing this before dinner.
Yeah, no, dude, it was.
I hope you are not eating while you're listening.
Dude, but that's the thing. Like, also, we live in like the ruralness of Florida, and Florida is like known for a breeding stew of just nasty.
Well, imagine
shit.
how bad it was before they drained it and everything, when everything was so much wetter.
Well, have you ever heard of creep interruptia? No.
Why do I feel like I'm gonna regret this? But tell me.
I got a brother that had this, and I'll just like leave the names apart. But he was it's whenever I don't even know if I was born yet or not. But like his back kept itching, and we lived in the backwoods of Mayak. I run around barefoot and stuff like that. His back kept itching, and like they went to Disney World. Like it was like probably 3 days in. You know, with kids, you don't know how full of shit they are. And I really say this as a parent and as someone who's remembering being a bullshit kid. Like, stubbed their toe, they could have broken it, they could have just barely whacked it. You know, and so like I think he'd been complaining for 2 or 3 days, and they'd gone to a couple of doctors about it. They'd been like, oh, he's having an allergic reaction to something. Give him some Benadryl, give him some this or that. And it's like, they went to Disney World, or what we did, I was born, because I remember going. And it's like, dude, he said like standing in the sun, it felt like his back of his skin was on fire. Because you know, you're standing in line at Disney World, like sun beating down. And finally he, my mom like took off his shirt and looked, and she could see worms moving under his skin. It is. And, and it started as a rash, and it turned into that. And finally she called a vet, who was like, listen, it's called creeping eruptia. Get him to drink this poison. It will make him sick, but he will kill every one of these in his body. It's going to make him sick for like 2 days. And she, like, after 3 licensed professional doctors could not figure out what was wrong with him, this one probably drunk vet was like,
country boy can't survive.
Was pretty much like, drink some Laudanum. Ghost in your blood. Get him out.
Go hit him with a dose of
and don't work. But I never got that. So welcome to Florida Man Stories. Like, this is what.
Well, that's literally what happened when the coronavirus and all started really come out and go around, the COVID stuff.
Right.
It was Corona on everything, which I still think might be why they changed the name from coronavirus. I went and looked and read one of our Safeguard or Ivermectin bottles or whatever. I forget what Ivermectin. One of the I think it was Ivermectin Plus. It says right on the bottle, coronavirus.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll be good. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine here.
I still think it was the Illuminati backing the Corona beer industry that didn't want to hurt their image.
I mean, I think they did pretty well on it, because everybody was like, I had my Corona shot.
Yeah. No, okay. All right, that was a fun joke. But we, Florida's got like critters in it, and that's.
And pythons.
Oh, and pythons. And
I was reading that. Did you know that in the Everglades National Forest, that 99% of all the mammals are gone because of the pythons? They said that the raccoon population is down 99.3%.
That's an insane number.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They said there's like just hardly anything anymore because and they admitted that they'll never get the pythons under control. They've bred too much and there's too many of them.
Now, all right, here's what I'm curious about. One, are these the same people that are saying the Red Panthers ceased to exist?
You mean the red wolf?
Red wolf, whatever, Florida native thing.
Yeah, the red wolf. Maybe, probably, I don't know. But I have seen a red wolf.
Yeah, like that's... are these the same people that are saying the sandhill whooping crane is endangered?
I feel like raccoons are pretty prominent, and when they're like saying we don't see
have they been
anymore,
to my tack shed in the past?
When there's no pythons in your tack shed.
There might be.
Yeah.
When I walk in there, but, sorry, it was low hanging fruit. I just had to pick it.
This isn't a kid show, at least.
More innuendos. Hey, guys, be back in a minute. And like, we're in a second. And we're back. 5 minutes for us, 30, half a second for y'all, whatever. But, so dude, I was getting into, I was doing my work. And I was listening to, of course, like fun little conspiracy theories on YouTube. Here's the thing. It's not like it used to be. I remember like, when we were younger and YouTube was starting to become a thing, it seemed like most of the stuff that got recommended to you, like, wasn't nearly as professional, wasn't nearly as smooth looking and graphic wise, but like there's a bigger variety of stuff. Like it really like ran the gambit. But it seems like I'm seeing some of that start to make a comeback. Some of them are these like conspiracy icebergs where it starts off with like something that everybody knows about and goes deeper and deeper and stuff that people rarely know about. We might take a crack
like dog people.
Like dog people, yeah. But anyways, dog people aside for now, we'll come back to them maybe another day. I was looking at it, it was this black guy. He was, I swear, he could be like a black Dale Gribble. But like how Dale Gribble was a Texan, like this guy like's probably from Chicago or something like that. And but it was funny because like when I heard him bring up COINTELPRO, what I know of COINTELPRO with my Southern raisings is like, oh man, that's when the feds like infiltrated the guy at Ruby Ridge, or not just Ruby Ridge, but like so protest movements of hippies and stuff like that. It's cool to hear this guy of another culture, like when he brings it up, he's like, yeah, like I can name you 3 different instances the FBI infiltrated the Black Panthers and like put a mole in there to like disrupt the organization and like tried to commit an assassination. Maybe not try to commit an assassination, but like stuff pointing in that direction. So it's neat to see renewed interest seemingly in this subject, but with enough crazy shit going on in the world, I think people are just trying to make sense of, they're trying to make a narrative of what's going on. Any narrative that'll just fit all, I mean, that's what my brain struggles to try to do all the time. It leads me down tunnels like freaking people with dog heads.
I think South Park does the best analogy. It's a bunch of manatees picking up random balls, and that's just what happens.
So we're just a Family Guy skit?
Yeah, it's because it doesn't make any sense anymore.
No. What? So you showed me an article where the guy that was fired in Israel, the defense minister.
Oh yeah, Israel's having a civil war. Didn't have that one.
Seemingly, I don't know. That's almost like one of them headlines to me, like with the Chinese weather balloon, like China's invading U.S. and it's like, yeah, I mean, kind of, but not really.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but I didn't have Israel on my bingo board for Civil War.
When he brought up France to me, and I was like, well, it sounds like France. I mean, they light stuff on fire over there.
No, but they're really angry this time. Like angrier than normal.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And they're not surrendering, so they're still going. They're so far, I think they protested longer than they fought World War II.
But we were talking about this like off camera, but you brought up how like kind of like it really seems like Joe Biden's term is like his first term is Obama's third term.
Yeah, it feels like we've just gone back to where we were.
And I could see that from a modern right winger, like just not even putting that in a negative term. I can just really see that lining up. Like my response to that would be, like at least legislative, policy-wise, wasn't Obama's first and second term just George Bush's fourth and fifth or third and fourth?
See, I was not that paying much attention to politics at the time, but I do know like the health insurance BS and all the other socialist crap. I don't think was starting with Bush, was it?
A lot of it was starting to, as far as they were starting to. Bush really, one of the big socialist things that Bush pushed that you might remember was No Child Left Behind.
Oh, I say leave them bitches.
Well, that was like kind of a more socialist approach to the education. Like, no, we're not going to have special dumb kids classes. We're going to throw them and the gifted kids and everybody all together in one, so no child is left behind.
So that's why my Taco Bell order's never right anymore.
Dude, that's a lot that has to do with it. I'd say just public schooling has mostly to do with that. But
I saw in Oregon now that you don't even have to prove that you can write or read to get a high school diploma. They took away like all the equivalency tests. You just have to show up basically. Like if you show up enough days, like you graduate.
That's great. That's wonderful. Good for them. I'm happy that's on the opposite side of the country from me. I'm about as far away from Oregon as
yeah, they'll never find their way here. They can't read a map.
No. And what did DeSantis like recently? What, he shut down a liquor license to a hotel because kids were at a drag show?
Oh yeah, or it was a drag show geared towards kids. I think maybe I don't know, or a bring your kid to drag show. I don't know,
something like that.
I'm not pro drag show, but if you're having a drag show, I don't. Okay, whatever, that's fine. It's a drag show. However, if you're having a drag show and it's advertised for kids, or you're wanting kids there, then I got a problem because that's just even if it was a strip club. Kids shouldn't be there on whatever it is.
Even that aside, it seems like on the right side of the aisle, people are going bonkers about Trump or DeSantis, and I'm just like, I don't know, them two against each other. By the way, update, I guess Trump hasn't been arrested for...
Again?
He's arrested in some people's heads.
Yeah.
But, no, I don't... This all seems like... It seems like so many different things are coming to a head. Like, not...
Well, I think... I'm not trying to cut you off. The weird thing, too, with the DeSantis thing is now everybody's trying to push the narrative that DeSantis is the deep state if the major news is like, if that's like the narrative, it makes me wonder if that's not. The problem is with everything being so crazy anymore, I'm second guessing my second guesses and I don't know what's what anymore.
It's a hard thing. Because for me, I mean, when I first heard about DeSantis, and I remember doing a little bit of my homework when he first ran, it seemed like he actually got a lot of money from old establishment Tampa. Like a lot, like, I don't know specifically Morgan & Morgan, but from the handful of articles I read, it seemed like maybe, well, I'd say a handful, one or two articles I read, it seemed like the typical donors to the typical Republican Party, the Florida Republican Party, which is notorious for being
I know Morgan & Morgan was good friends with Charlie Crist.
Because, a lot
because I was at a football game and they were sitting directly behind us as one of my buddies was vomiting on himself. So that's how I met the governor of Florida. He gave us a high five.
And the man on the Morgan & Morgan commercials.
Not a fan of him because he tried to sue me one time.
He did try to sue you.
And it wasn't my fault. A drunk driver hit me, and Morgan & Morgan still took the case. They was thrown out because it clearly wasn't my fault, but still.
Throw that on your commercial, jackass.
Yeah.
We're coming for you, Morgan. We're topping the roof.
No, I'm not doing anything like that.
No.
I'm just stating the fact that, Morgan & Morgan tried. And I guess they didn't go after me. They went after my insurance. But still, it was like, he didn't do anything wrong.
Bandit, I will follow you to that bridge, but not a step closer to that monster. No, he's the largest law firm in America.
Yeah, no.
But... it seemed like the article I read on DeSantis, it was like the people contributing the most to him were like also contributing to the Democrats. And the Florida Republicans, if they are known for something, it is for being like, if you're a conservative and you actually believe in conservative like principles, Florida Republicans like suck. They like are the quickest to pass gun laws. They're the quickest to pass regulatory restrictions. They're the ones that made it, they lowered, I believe within the same year, they lowered the entrance require hours to become a police, like on the state level, but at the same time increased the amount of regulatory hours, credential hours it takes to be a hairdresser, that by the end of it, you have to spend more hours in the education class to become a hairdresser in some cities than you do a police officer. Which is just like, and I actually saw a guy advocating gun control making this argument the other way around the other day. He's like, you realize it's easier to get a gun than a hair cutting license in this state? And it's like, it's way too hard to get a hair cutting license, you idiot. Like, it's dumb.
I think you should be able to get a gun out of a vending machine. So.
Pretty much, yep. Like, you might be joking about it, but I'm like...
No, I'm not.
Yeah. I think... I should be able to get whatever firearm a soldier carries. And as far as we've been able to tell, anecdotally from stories we've seen, it seems like if someone tries to do something dumb with a gun, and they do it in a city or place that the guns are a rare thing or not a common thing, they kill a lot of people. But anytime they do it in a church in small town Texas, there's a pow, a guy just
the neighbor steps out and shoots him.
Or like what the guy at the mall in Ohio, was it like a year ago, that domed the guy from across the food court, and it's like
it's always the gun-free zones that get blasted.
And not only that, like, and I know for people that grow up like not with guns as a part of their culture, like this probably does sound like crazy hillbilly talk. But when you grow up like knowing what guns are, and like my dad he was a stern dad, but he wasn't like overtly like overkill or anything, except guns. Like that was the one thing where it's like if he was gonna cuss us or chew us out about something, it's because we weren't holding a gun the perfectly right way.
Same thing. You don't ever point. My dad was even like that with like toy guns, cap guns. You don't point it at somebody. You don't, anything. Even like a cap gun or like growing up, like you get in trouble for that.
Yeah. And like it's real, but like when you grow up in that culture of it, I don't know, you kind of respect them for what they are. And you can tell, well, I think we've talked about it before, you can tell when people don't. And you're like, I know not to trust you with a firearm because my life and everybody else's life it's instinctual. It's like, it's just, it's very instinctual. But you know what, on the other hand, like what is neat, I remember there was a guy that came out, I think it was after my daughter's baptism, but it was somebody on my baby's mama's side of the family. A dude that was like a boyfriend of a cousin or something. Anyways, they all come out and they're like, oh, y'all shoot guns, y'all do something. Like, yeah, y'all want to try, y'all want to do it. Everyone's like, oh, no. And there's this one dude, I think he was Brazilian. Not that it really matters, but it was something like just slightly foreign to me. And he goes, man, I'd love to try to shoot that. I think it was my brother's AK. And he grabs my brother's AK and racks around, and we throw like a water bottle in the creek, and he boom, like nails it every single time. We're like, oh, dude, you want to try my 40 pistol? And he, we rack it for show him how to do it. He nails it. We're like, dude, you've gone shooting before. It's the first time I ever touched a gun in my life, and like knew to. But we told him like safety, point it down. Like it's so cool when you come across certain people that it's like, oh, they just instinctively.
Oh, he's killed a guy.
No, never touched gun in my life. Never. Not in this country. not here. But dude, but then like I don't know, you got goof troops like me that I have a monologue in my head at all times, and every time I touch a gun, I'm like, don't point it that way, don't point it that way, point it like got to train yourself and train your kids. But one of my favorites is, you ever see that picture from the 50s that's like a high school? Where target practice is like one of the electives you can have, and they all got class assigned 22 rifles they're training with. And 0 mass shootings.
Simpler times.
In some ways, I don't know. Yeah, 50s sucked for some people, but for others it looked nice. I know you've seen that picture of like the 50s on the beach.
Where everybody's like just not severely overweight.
Yeah. And everybody like, dude, there wasn't even a diet plan back then.
No, you just
ate whatever you heard of recently.
Or dude, you actually had to go like you had to cook your food, or you had to.
Have you ever seen the monstrosities of 50s cookbooks?
It's all butter.
Dude, no, like not only that, like all right, country ones are, but like, do you ever like? I remember this was like a Facebook thing I'd look at a couple of years ago. But dude, it was like a ham that you cut holes into and put Jello and like the nastiest combinations of different meats and like a big thing of bologna. That
I'm still not entirely sure what scrapple is, but I think that's what you're describing.
There's something like that, yeah. And I was like, dude, this looks.
I guess that's like a big thing, like around Delaware and stuff. Because when I was crop dusting there, like it was in the stores. I looked at it. It's like a weird meat bread loaf, thing in a package. And I was like, I like Spam. I like damn sausages. I couldn't make myself.
I'm an adventurous eater.
I couldn't make myself buy it to try it.
I'll take a gamble.
I was like, nothing about that or the few ingredients I read on there even sound decent.
No.
But I just pictured, that's what I pictured.
Dude, I don't know how we like ran away from this subject. This was like one thing I really thought that was interesting tonight. Not tonight, but today, or this week, or what the hell ever. So like, dude, if this is like, Obama's third term. And that was policy-wise, was Bush's, like, all right, foreign policy-wise.
I mean, we're back to bombing Syria.
We're back to bombing Syria. And, like, dude, and if you look before Bush into Clinton, I mean, when I was growing up, Clinton was the peaceful president that didn't have any wars. Like,
he was blowing loads elsewhere.
No, he's blowing loads everywhere. Like, maybe in so many more ways than one. But, like, dude, from Kosovo to, like, different Middle Eastern conflicts and African conflicts, like, we didn't know about, or, like, we weren't really told about, but you even go to before him, and you got George W. Bush and Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan and the Contras.
And you hear the same thing. You can see a pattern of it going all the way back to godforsaken. I've talked about him before, Smedley Butler, who's just like, man, I'm the most decorated Marine, and it seems like all I've done is invade countries for these couple of corporations and government connections. And it's like, there's no patriotism in this. There's no, like, glory. And he almost led a soldier revolt against Washington, D.C. Badass.
Simpler times. When did we go to the halls of Montezuma and the shores of Tripoli? Like, it's literally in the Marine, like...
I don't know.
I don't know if that... I don't know if that was before the Civil War, but you basically... If you look at the Civil War, you could say the North invaded, as part of... They claim invaded the South. Yeah. So we invaded then. So 1865. Since then, we've just been... I'm assuming before the Civil War, we were probably invading places. We've just been invading country after country since the Civil War.
Yeah.
Like we invaded Cuba.
It's been Cuba. It's been the Philippines.
It's the halls of Montezuma, shores of Tripoli, clearly.
Is Montezuma in Mexico? Because, I mean, when you really look at how that Mexican line was created, it's some bullshit on our side.
It's like,
straight
no,
up. They're like, hey, soldiers, march south to the Mexican line. They're like, where is it? They're like, just march south until you start shooting people.
Yeah.
And then we're going to tell, like, our Congress that y'all were invaded and fired upon, and we need to go further south than y'all did. And it's like, this is...
Looking back, we're not always... I don't think we've been the good guys.
Well, hang on. Like, and I really, like, separate...
Not everywhere. Like, not everywhere. But there's some stuff that's like, why'd we do that?
It's been the people that have had the benefit of controlling and using other men with power that's in the what do you call it? Where it's illegitimate.
Yeah.
It's illegitimate power over. And that's what I consider, like, government is. Because any contract that you have with anybody that's, like, representing you... There's, like, terms and conditions. Like, if you have a lawyer representing you, like, there's documents you sign where it's like, hey, if you're representing me, it's, like, to the best of your abilities. And, like, you ain't going to do conflicts of interest and stab me in the back, yada, yada, yada. Like, it's very specified. Both when it's so blanketed, like government, I think humans just get there and go, all right, I can kind of do whatever I want for the greater good. So if that means invading the Philippines... liberating the Philippines from Spain and then doing the horrible shit. Like, we didn't do that. The psychos in the government did. That's probably like one of my favorite things of the revolution. I think they're called the Green Mountain Boys. And I think it was, I might be like mixing some names up, but it was this troop up in like northeastern United States, like up around like Delaware and stuff. Maybe further north than that, might be up in Maine. But, like, so they were a militia, but they were led by a pacifist, by, like, a renowned pacifist. Can't remember the dude's name, but he was, a genius in the fact that he's like, I'm going to stop the British from doing anything in this area without killing anybody. And, like, what he would do is, like...
Just put laxatives in their tea.
It's more badass than that. Like, I think one of them was, like, he knew a local British regiment was, like, guarding this big armory.
So he just Batman him. He just put him to sleep.
He more George Washington him. He sent a fake spy to get caught by them with, like, plans that, like, he was amassing an army, like, just on the other side of this river. And these British guys were like, we can get some quick glory by, like, capturing these guys with their pants down. And they left, like, 2 guys there to guard the armory. They left.
And he was like, ha-ha!
He showed up with, like, 10 people. He was like, just drop the guns. And they dropped them. Then he planted bombs and blew up the armory or something like that. But he was a dude that when the Constitution was made, we have, like, this kind of rose-colored glass look on things of, like, When the Constitution was made, everybody in the country went, yep, that's the new rules. We're all good. This dude that was leader of the Green Mountain Boys was like, you're telling me Washington, D.C. has say over what I do? No. Like, I'll do the same thing to you that I did to the British. Like, send your regulators, please. I've made half a life out of screwing with authority. I'll do it until I die. And he supposedly, he led other peaceful, it's not like he makes sure he doesn't kill anybody, but he still just blows shit up. And
he's a thorn in the side.
He's not a hippie, but he's just like, I'm not gonna get any blood on my hands, but I'm gonna piss y'all off so bad. And taught insurrection schools, and it's when you hear that phrase rebellion is our heritage, it's no, literally America. From the natives fighting the flu, to the Europeans fighting them, to the fighting each other this has been a country of...
Is that just sort of thing? We just have to be fighting somebody? If not, we're fighting our neighbor, or we're fighting...
I don't think we have to be fighting. Because I think we have to have competition. I think we have to have that. There has to be... And for the longest time, violence was the easiest and most expedient competition. But I really think we might have evolved to where... Maybe, and this is just me kind of grasping at straws, admittedly, but maybe through trade, not even explicitly capitalism, but maybe through competing with each other in different ways, we can substitute that urge to violently beat the shit out of each other and have it be of benefit.
Positive punching!
Maybe, hey, dude, UFC! We'll make you a millionaire if you could punch in this certain way by these certain rules and maybe not kill anybody.
The system works.
Dude, we kind of have gladiatorial arenas now. As much as that's circus and bread to me, I'm like that circus.
Isn't that the quote? Give them the circus and they'll never revolt or something like that?
Supposedly with Nero, who was the insane ruler of Rome, who was I don't know.
I thought Caligula was the crazy.
There's a lot of them. A lot of them. Nero was supposedly the fiddler on the playing a violin on the roof while the city burned, but also the guy.
I thought that was the Jewish play.
No, later on that would be a Jewish
Weren't you in that?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that was my theater time. That was my time to shine, bro. As goofy as I was, that was 7th grade. My girlfriend played opposite me, it was such Romeo and Juliet horse shit. And I remember being what's this play about? They're it's communists coming in to kill all the Jews. And I'm I don't know what any of this means. They're you're gonna dance with a bottle on your head. I'm that's terrifying. that's horrifying.
I'm clumsy.
Dude, I'm the clumsiest person I've ever met. This is bad. And to this day, I don't know if it was adrenaline that kicked in or God was I'm going to give you one. Dude, I did the little, the Russian dance where they cross their arms and they get down and they squat and you kick and do the can kind of, but while they're squatting. You had to do that while a bottle was on your head, while you're wearing a hat.
I watched the show.
You did?
Yeah. I think my sister was in it.
My family was there and I was embarrassed. I was people probably think I'm gay because now I know what gay is. But anyways, but the bottle stayed on my head, and I'm a bad son of a bitch. I'm the best son of a bitch up there on that stage. Y'all take it, Hollywood.
The best bottle dancer this side of Mississippi.
Yes, sir. Be like that little boy with the tap dancing and the big cowboy hat. But that wasn't a thing.
The yodel kid?
Yes, that very based.
Aren't you glad this was before everybody would just have that video still on their cell phone?
Dude, that was still VHS camcorders where you had to slap it in the side of it.
Oh, yeah.
The good old days. But dude, no, at Fiddler on the Roof, badass. No, Nero supposedly played violin while Rome was burning. Caligula, whole bunch of weird. I can't even remember the specifics of him, but there was weird.
He's the one that built the lakes with the boats in the middle of it and all the weird orgy things. I think.
I dig it. All right, cool guy. Good dad.
Yeah, I think he was a little off his rocker.
A little bit.
Which was the one that ordered? Was he the one that ordered the army to go fight the ocean?
He might be.
I think they just had to literally go out there with spears and he had a nephew or somebody died at sea and they all just went and started stabbing the beach.
So I can't remember who originally said it, but power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? Well, I like these stories we read of he got mad at the god of the ocean for killing his father in a shipwreck, so he got all his soldiers. What if it's the people with this much power they literally go crazy from it because your body, your human instinct is like to compete for things. So they're almost like the beautiful mice in the mouse experiment we talked about. Like they're going nuts from it. And what if like all those layman soldiers are like, did you hear what the boss said today? He wants us to go stab the fucking ocean.
I picture him just going like, beach day!
And like, all right, we're going to write back and tell them we did stab the ocean. We're taking a breather. We got like 50 slaves apiece.
Like, Jimmy, you got to take one for the team. You're like, we're going to stab you in the knee.
Yeah.
Like it.
Dude, how insane were those people? God, when I die, I just hope there's an emporium of stuff that actually happened on this earth before I lived that I can just watch on a DVD set. And that'd be perfect for me. I have so many questions.
No, I didn't know if I wanted to get into this. I was reading a thing about the fall of Rome and transsexuals.
Ooh. What is it?
And then I was like reading a doctor's philosophy that like that, the transgender or the gender neutrality or the gender fluidity.
Is it the obsession with sexuality?
Is an indication of cultural collapse.
I've heard that, and I think I've heard multiple.
And I started down the rabbit hole, but didn't get to finish. And it was actually like showing that one thing they don't.
You didn't get to finish with all them transsexuals.
But my transplants out there,
yeah.
I had to go play with my transplants, put them in the beds.
Theme of the night.
But no, he was talking about like this one thing they don't really talk about is Rome and the gender fluidity and how that all started, and it was like right around the time that Rome peaked and it led into the cultural collapse and then eventually the fall of Rome. And so then it was like, can that be a spectrometer for where we at today in our society? Because would it also be, and I'm not trying to like to bash the transsexual stuff, but it's puts you in does that show that we're starting to go off the cliff now?
Well, I think because
you can't say things are getting better.
Bear with me. A whole lot of sexism from the hip coming at y'all. So like, all right, bear with me. If like in more primitive societies, and when I say more primitive, I'm like thinking 1800s frontier. I'm thinking probably like rural European towns, like Eastern Europe, like, well, not first world countries. Like, from what I understand, like a man is typically physically more able to like do manual labor, and so like a woman like has to take care of the house, which is
manual labor, not womanual labor.
Yeah. But like even like taking care of the house is like no piece of cake. Like when you don't have a vacuum and like laundry machines and like, oh shit, this is hard work. Like that a woman has to do. But it's like a dude is physically more capable of going out and doing some of the more hunter-gathery shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like building houses or whatever. As that society, whether it's Rome or the United States or England or whatever, like as it advances and as men, a larger portion of them stop engaging in that manual labor and started, like, let's say, I don't know, they're managing money. Like, they're doing things society needs. They're managing transportation or stuff like crucial things to society. They don't have to do that as much. And almost a like more feminine aspect comes out, and like I think everybody has like damn near masculine and feminine at like if I think, oh, that's a pretty painting, that's a like pretty feminine baggy shit I said, but like I'm capable of saying that. And just like a girl could say like, I want to punch you in the mouth right now. I'm like, oh, you kind of sound like a dude. And then
that's a turn on.
Then she does. Oh yeah, you kind of hit like a dude. What do you imagine that, Taylor?
Inside joke.
Yeah. But she made me see stars. But that kind of was asking for it. But no, so like, as this society progresses, unless like, it seems like that would be a thing to tend to happen. Would make sense, kind of, a growing population. Doesn't have to go do the more manual labor and stuff like that. That just kind of... And I'm not one of these, like, micro, like, the problem with America is that we don't have more people breaking their back in half. I'm like, I don't know about this. It's kind of nice that we don't have to build horses.
Oh, manual labor is terrible.
Sucks.
Yeah, there's nothing fun about it.
No, it sucks. Unless, like, you figure out fun ways to do it, unless you're inclined, you're, like, one of these guys that's built that way. But, like, dude, if you... Like a roofer, there's a reason they pay him a lot.
I'm in my 30s and my knees hurt.
Yeah, my back hurts very bad. But, like, I don't know. for better or for worse, I think that's the. It wouldn't surprise
it's like
me.
a way of saying that. What is it like? Hard times create or hard times create hard men, and then soft times create soft men. Whatever.
Rough times create real G's.
Yeah.
Real G's create. I saw like a hood version of it. I'm like, I want that as a bumper sticker. That's all for everybody in my small town. But no, dude. So, man, it's late. Shit. Yeah, it's late. Guys, we'd do this later because I actually feel like there's other stuff we could chat about. We got to get, I don't know, we'll try to throw a bonus episode in here somewhere. Maybe, let me know what y'all think. We might do an iceberg of some sort of like do a Bandit take on conspiracies. Like something I feel like that's lacking.
What's going to be the jump off point?
Dog people.
Dog people.
Dude, what if I'm just the guy you go to about dog people things nowadays? Hang on, did you listen to the mandatory homework?
It was about giants. You didn't send me the dog people thing.
Oh, okay. I might have messed it up.
Yeah, and then I got a phone call. I was like halfway through. It was about giants.
Yeah.
And I was like, are they going to get to the dog people?
Oh, maybe they didn't.
And then I think my phone rang and I started doing something else. But no, so I'll have to, you still owe me, and I guess you have to send me that.
Dog people and giants. There'll be more coming at you. We'll do an iceberg of something. But if y'all got one to recommend or y'all want something interesting to take on, let me know in the comments. Thank y'all for making it this far. You people are badass. All peoples. Follow us on Merch. What can they follow us on? There's some plugs.
Everything: Instagram, Rumble, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Just basically type in Bandit Radio Hour in any of those things, and we'll be there.
It's us or a Russian guy playing chilling music that's wearing a gas mask, and I'll give him this. Like his shit looks cool. But no, listen to us. We'll see y'all later. Bye.